Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
One of the most common requests we get from farmers is during our Farm Basics time, they want us to talk to non-farmers about how much it costs to farm. And if you are a non-farmer, we just want you to understand, yeah, it seems like a lot of money that the farmer would be bringing in, and a lot of people will say, well, boy, he only has to work for a month in the spring and a month in the fall, and that's all he has to do, and he makes all this money. I wish it was that easy, and everybody would want to farm. So today we kind of wanted to run through some of these costs and also make this comparison from 2004, 10 years ago, to, we talked kind of similar about this on the show in 2010, to today. Things really have changed a lot in just 10 years on the farm.
Well, one of the things that's changed is yield. And when we look at what we're doing on the farm as farmers, we grade ourselves in how big that crop is. So if we raise 125 bushel corn like we did back in 2004, we want to get better than that each year. And that's certainly happened on our farm and many farms across the country. Yields have been getting better.
Yeah, and let me just say this. When we're talking about these costs to farm, a lot of these would be our own costs for our farm. We realize every farm is different. There are certainly tweaks that you can make, lots of changes you can do, but in terms of costs on our farm, it costs the average farm in this area and through much of the Midwest. This is kind of what we're talking about. So when Darren says 125 bushels in 2004, that's what we were usually talking on our farm in 2004. 2010, we went to 175. Today, we're talking 180.
Well, one thing that has changed is the value of the land. And in our area, land prices have gone up considerably, especially when corn made its big run up to $7 a bushel in this area for a short period of time. Land rents went up right along with the land prices. So our land rents are dramatically higher than they were back in 2004 in this area. In 2004, rent was often around $80 an acre. By 2010, rent was up to $130, and by 2014, rent is all the way up to $200 per acre. So 2.5 times what it was just 10 years ago.
After cash rent, the next biggest cost on the farm today is fertilizer. We figure $140 an acre for corn fertilizer, and we're just talking for an average cornfield here. So in terms of the seed and the crop protection products, all those things, fertilizer, we're just going to figure corn here. So seed costs are up a lot since '04 as well. We figured $40 back then, $110 today. On the crop protection side, it's about the same, about $40 all the way through. Equipment's up a little bit from '04, $50 back then. We figure $80 today. Insurance is about double, gas, oil, tires, buildings, bins, all that kind of stuff. Everything on the farm has gone up to some degree. So grand total, we figured back in '04, $280 per acre to farm a corn acre back then on our farm and the average farm around here. Today we figure $615 an acre.
Well, it sounds like a lot of money, and it definitely is, but the way that farmers will figure this out to figure out if they can make money doing this or not is they'll try to take that total cost per acre and divide it by the expected number of bushels they're going to get on the farm. So as they're making these choices, all right, if I buy the right seed, if I do the right fertility program, if I do everything I can to manage that crop properly, I can get this certain yield. So they'll divide total cost by bushels expected to get what they feel their cost per bushel is going to be. So back in 2004, we looked at a cost per bushel estimated of $2.24. Now, $3.42. So the cost per bushel is much higher, and when you look at where that price per bushel is at around the country, it varies in what you can get at ethanol plants or grain terminals. So for farmers, if the price of corn is actually $3 in town when they haul the grain in, and it's going to cost them $3.42 a bushel to produce that bushel of corn, well, that's a losing proposition, and that's where we're at right now. We're right on that border where can we make money or not? We really do need the markets to go in our favor a little bit in order for that to happen.
So once again, the reason why we wanted to share this information with you is just so you understand, as a non-farmer, how much it really does take, how much money it costs. Well, you start multiplying this out, $615 an acre, even on 1,000 acres, that's $615,000. Like for us, we farm 2,700 acres, so you're talking between $1 million and $2 million just to put the crop in and all the expenses and everything else, and then we're really dependent on Mother Nature and obviously the commodity prices too, because where they're at today, corn production is not a money-making proposition through much of the United States.
Well, certainly one of the things farmers will keep an eye on in their fields is weed control. Can you identify this week's weed of the week?